Hi, fourth graders. Welcome to lesson 3, and it is comparing and ordering numbers using greater, less than, or equal signs. All right, so we're going to get started on this lesson. In order to do that, you need to have this printed, the worksheet for it. There's a front side and a back, or possibly you have two sheets. And if you were not able to print it, then please make sure you get your math notebook out and make sure that you have a pencil. It can be a mechanical pencil or regular pencil. Do not use a pen. I use a pen just so that you can see stuff, but I want you to be able to make corrections if you make a mistake. All right? So let's get started with our lesson. Question number 1 says to write, it says compare 15,327 and 15,341. We're going to compare those using our greater than, less than, or equal to sign. And it says we're going to write one of those, and we're going to use the number line to help us. So I've already drawn the number line up here, and you can see that I've labeled it, and it goes in increments of 15,300, 15,310, 15,320. Can you see? Here's 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's in increments of 10. So between each one of the larger lines, you would find 10 tick marks. And then the little longer one would be halfway between, which would be a 5. So our best bet is to start off, and we're going to find, since it says use the number line, if you don't have to use the number line, that's great, but you need to know how to use the number line. So in this problem, they're telling us that we have to use one, so we're going to. So I'm looking for 15,327. Well, I know all of these have 15,300, so I'm going to focus on the 27. So I'm going to come down here and I see here's 20. And I need 27, so I need 7 more. Now I could go 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And I am going to put an X right above that one. All right? Sometimes we put a dot on it like that. I don't want to do that because it will ruin our dry erase marker. All right? So I'm just going to put an X above it. Now I'm going to try to find, actually, I'm going to take that off. And now I am going to label my X 15,327. That way I can remember which one's which, because I don't know which way I'm going to be going. So since I know that they're all 15,300, now I'm going to focus on the last part, and I want 41. So I'm looking for the 40. Here it is. And I want one more tick mark than that. And so my X is going to go right there. And this is going to be 15,340. All right, so our question says that I have to use the greater than, less than, or equal to sign. So I always when I'm doing this, I go from left to right. I'm going to read it this way. 15,327, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 15,341? Which one is furthest to the right on our number line? 15,300, oh, sorry, made a mistake there. That should have been a 1. 15,341 is the furthest to the right, so it's our largest number. So you probably learned when you were younger that Mr. Munchie Mouth always is hungry and eats the largest number. And that just helps us know which way to point it. Now, it's always eats up the larger number. So that means it's pointing to the smaller number. So this one would read 15,327 is less than 15,341. All right? Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look at question 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, here's a little trick that I do. For me, it helps me to be able to compare the numbers if I stack them. So I am going to bring this number over, and I have to be really careful that I line them up. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the same amount of digits. So I can go ahead and line them up carefully. And when we're comparing digits and we're comparing numbers, we always start at the left and work to our right. We start with the largest place value and work our way to the smallest or the least valuable one. So I'm going to start here, and they both have 6, so that doesn't help me. So they're the same. And then I go to the next place value, which is in the 10,000s. This is a 3 and this is a 4. 4 is larger than 3, so I know that this number is greater than this number. And remember, once again, Mr. Munchie Mouth always opens his mouth up to the larger number. All right, so let's look at number 3 over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring this number down, and I'm going to make sure I line them up. And I'm going to start with my largest place value and work my way to my smallest. I have a 5 and a 5. They're the same, so that doesn't help me. The next one, I have a 6 and I have a 2, and my 6 is greater. So this time, Mr. Munchie Mouth is going to flip, and he's still going to eat the larger number, and it's going to go that way. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring down this number. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. So I know I can just line them up. And I can start off, and right away I can see with my largest digit, my very first one, I can see that the 7 is greater than the 6, which tells me that this number is greater than this number, because I know 700,000 is larger or greater than 600,000. All right, over here, I can do the exact same thing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 this time. So I know if there's 6 here and 5 here, I need to line up. Nothing's going to be underneath the first one. So it's going to be 9, 8, 6. Ooh, I got to be careful there. Almost got them too far this way. Now I'm starting with the largest or the greatest place value, and notice there's a 1 here and nothing here. That means there's 0 in that place value, and 1 is always larger than 0. So I'm going to put my put my sign so that it's saying that this is greater than this. All right. Always read it from left to right. So 143,062 is greater than 98,643. This one would read 631,328 is less than 640,009. All right? Now we're going to work on number 6. And this one's a little bit different. They give us 3 numbers, and it says in our directions, and be careful of this because they will be tricky and sometimes switch it up on you, especially when you're taking a test. So make sure you're reading the directions very carefully. It says order from greatest to least. All right? So I'm going to order from greatest to least. And once again, the best way of doing this is to line these numbers up vertically. Now I can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits in each one of these numbers. So I can go ahead and line them up and write them. And now I'm going to find, remember, greatest to least. What number is the largest? So I'm going to start off with my largest place value, and they're all 2s. And since they're all 2s, that's not really going to help me much because they're all identical there. Now I'm going to move to the next place value, and I have a 0, a 1, and a 0. So 2 zeros. Well, 1 is always going to be larger than 2 zeros. So that means that this number here with the 1 in it is going to be my largest. So I'm going to put, it's my greatest number. So there's my first one because I'm going greatest to least. So now I can even take and cross that one out so that I don't get confused using it again. And I can draw a line through there if I want. And I go to the next digit. And I can see my next one, there's a 6 and an 8. Well, which one is largest? Which one's greater? The 8 is. So I see this number has the 8 in it. And notice that they separate the numbers with a little semicolon. That's so that they don't run together and we don't get confused and think you're writing one big long number. So now I'm going to write that number in. And I can cross this one out, and that only leaves me with one number left, which is going to be the least. It has the least value out of all 3 of these. And there we've put them from greatest to least. Okay, now let's take a look at the math talk. That's right here, all right? It says, use reasoning. So we have to stop and think to reason something out. Why do you not start with the ones digit when comparing 3 multi-digit numbers? So in other words, when we were doing it, why did we not start at the left and go to the, or start at the right and go to the left? We never started on this side and moved this way. When we're comparing numbers, we always start on this side, the left, and move to the right. And why is that? And so I wrote up here already, so that you can pause it if you need to write down your answer. And you can just try to squeeze it in here, or you can write down your answer here, whatever works the best for you. But you need to know this, okay? So since the 1 digit has the least value, so any number that's in the ones place has the least value, you cannot decide which is greater. You have to start comparing the digits in the greatest place value position. So if you are, if your numbers go up to 1,000, you need to start not in the ones position, but in the thousands position. If there's a million, you're going to start in the millions to compare them. That's why lining them up vertically like I did will help you have them in columns so that you can look at it. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to take some time and we are going to look at number 14. So turn your page over and you can look back here, and number 14 is right here. All right? So it says, number 14, our directions are write all the digits that can replace, and it has like a gray box. And I just put a line. So what number can go in here to make this sentence true? It says 464,545 is greater than, see, it's pointing towards the greater number, 400 something 3,535, which is greater than the 443,550. So we are going to compare the place values, which is the second digit in both of those, in the 10,000s place. So I can look, and this is larger than this. 6 is larger than 4. This has to be larger than this one. So if 6 is larger than both of these, this one is larger than 4, what has to be here? Can you figure it out? Okay, hopefully you guys said, oh, well, that's easy, 5. So your answer is 5, which is correct, but this one is a little trickier, all right? Because we need to check and say, we have all these digits behind here. What if this was also a 4? We have 2 4s, 2 4s, 2 3s. They're all identical in the thousands period. Now look, we've got 5s, the hundreds are the same, and we get all the way down to here and we see a 3 and a 5. All right? So it's saying that this number is larger would that make it true? Would this one be larger? Just checking to make sure I was telling you right. No, right? This one is actually smaller than this one, so it can't be a 4. So I'm going to erase. And let's look again. What if I made this a 6? If I make this a 6, well, we definitely knew this was larger, but now we've got to check them out. We have 4s, 6s, a 4, and a 3. The 4 is larger than the 3, so this number is still larger. So we're good there, right? Now come here. We have a 4, a 6, and a 4. This number is larger. All right? And then this one would be smaller. So that means we can have a 5 or a 6 could go in this spot and make this math sentence correct. All right? What I want you to do now is I want you to go through, and I'm going to have you pause this, and you're going to do on your own. These are problems. You're going to do number 13 here, and then you're going to do, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're just like the ones we did over here. And then 13 is like this one. And then there's a couple that you are comparing numbers down below that I want you to try to push your thinking on. When you're all done and you have this all done, then come back and I will have the answers for you and you can check them out. If you don't get something correct and you're not sure why after you look at it, drop me an email and I'll be happy to help you out, okay? So you go ahead and pause this and finish up your worksheet. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you got the rest of your worksheet completed. On the board, you will see that I have the answers up here so you can check your own sheet. And if you did found that you understood them and you are ready to, you can go ahead and you can work on your cool down, all right? I'm going to get out of the way so you can see it, pause it, check your answers, and good luck.